Predator cubs discovered her old shoes, asked why she keeps them. She said, "They still recall home." The cargo bay of the Valiant Dawn smelled of recycled air and metal, but tucked in the corner of Mira's quarters was a small wooden box that smelled of something else entirely. Earth. Corin had been prowling through the ship again. At 7 cycles old, the young Vraxi was all teeth, claws, and insatiable curiosity. His species had evolved as apex predators on a world where hesitation meant death, and even as cubs they carried that sharpness in their amber eyes. Human Mira? His voice carried that distinctive growl all Vraxi possessed. "Your door was open." Mira glanced up from her data tablet, a smile crossing her face. "It's just Mira, Corin." "Come in." The cub stepped inside, his digitigrade legs carrying him with unnerving silence. His eyes swept the room, but what stopped him was the box. The wooden box with its lid slightly ajar. "What is that?" He approached it cautiously. It smelled old, not like the ship. "That," Mira said, setting her tablet aside, "is complicated." Corin's ear flaps swiveled forward. His claw extended, carefully lifting the lid. Inside, nestled in dried lavender, sat a pair of shoes. They were battered things. The synthetic leather was cracked, the laces frayed, the soles worn thin. Dirt still clung to the treads, actual earth dirt. "These are—" He picked up one shoe with remarkable gentleness. "Broken. Why do you keep them?" Mira took the shoe from his clawed hand. "They're not broken. They're worn." "What is the difference?" "Broken things can't fulfill their purpose anymore. Worn things have fulfilled their purpose so well they carry the marks of that service." Corin's head tilted. "But you have newer shoes. Better ones. I have seen 3 different pairs since we met." "I do. These aren't for wearing anymore. They're for remembering." The cub sat on his haunches, tail curling, the Vraxi posture for focused listening. "Remembering what?" "Home." The word hung between them. Corin knew enough to understand that home wasn't just a place to humans. It was wrapped in emotion and something his translators struggled to render. "Tell me," he said. Mira's fingers traced the worn sole. "I got these when I was 16. First job money, bookstore in Seattle. I wore them hiking with my father. Wore them when I got my university acceptance." She pointed to a scuff. "This? From when I ran to catch the shuttle the day I got my Kepler station assignment. My first off-world posting." Her thumb brushed the frayed laces. "These broke during survival training in Australia. I tied them back and kept going." Corin leaned closer. "But they cannot protect your feet now. Why not dispose of them? Keep the memory without the object?" "Because memories fade, Corin. They become uncertain. But these," she held up the shoes, "these are real. I can touch them. Smell them. What do they smell like? Earth, soil, and grass. Rain on concrete. Cedar chips from our garden. Salt air from Puget Sound." She inhaled deeply. "My mother's workshop. The coffee shop where I studied. Trail dirt from a dozen hikes under Earth's sun." Corin was silent, processing. His species had perfect recall. Evolutionary necessity for predators. Needing physical objects to remember seemed alien. "You are far from your home world," he said slowly. "Farther than any Vraxi travels in a lifetime. You will not return for—" "How long?" 5-year contract. 3 years in. And these shoes let you remember across that distance?" "Yes." Corin stood, viewing her other items with new understanding. Photos, frozen time, beach glass in a jar, a pressed flower, the wooden carving copying her grandfather's chess set. "We Vraxi pride ourselves on perfect memory. We need no objects. We remember everything." "That sounds lonely," Mira said quietly. His head snapped toward her. "Lonely how?" "Because memories aren't just data. They're feelings. They change, deepen, soften. They connect us to who we were." She placed the shoe back carefully. "These don't just help me remember Earth. They help me remember the girl who wore them. Who I was before I became who I am now. And that girl, you wish to remember her? Every day. She was brave enough to leave home. Curious enough to apply for deep space. Strong enough to say goodbye." Mira's expression softened. "When I'm tired or afraid or so far from everything familiar I can't see forward, I touch these shoes. I remember that brave girl. And I remember I'm still her." The young Vraxi was quiet. When he spoke, his voice had lost its characteristic growl. "We do not have such things. When a Vraxi dies, their possessions burn. The pack remembers, but nothing physical remains. Do you find that helps?" Corin's ears flattened. I have never questioned it before. Mira reached out slowly, placing her hand on his scaled shoulder. There's no right way to remember. Your people's way works for you. This works for me. But now I wonder what we might have forgotten by having nothing to help us remember. That's a very human thought, Mira smiled. May I know more about these places they walked? So Mira told him, mountains touching sky and endless oceans, seasons, unknown to tidally locked Vraxi, forests where rain fell through green canopies, cities lit by millions of lights, deserts where heat shimmered reality, her father teaching bird calls, her mother's patient hands, her brother hiding her things, friends scattered across the galaxy. Corin began understanding. Humans left their world not because they didn't love it, but because they loved it so much they carried it with them. Every human was an ambassador of a small blue world that birthed something strange, creatures who could hold the past while reaching for stars. When you return, will you wear them again? Mira shook her head. No, they've earned their rest, but I'll walk Earth in new shoes that will eventually wear the same way. Maybe when I'm old I'll have a collection, each holding different memories, different versions of who I was. That is beautiful. In a way I did not expect. That's very human too, finding beauty in unexpected places. Corin stood, pausing at the door.
Mira, when I return to my homeworld, I will keep something.
Perhaps my training blade, perhaps the stone I used to sharpen my claws. Not because Vraxi needs such things, but because I will want to remember the human who taught me that memory is more than data, it is connection. Mira's eyes glistened. I'd like that very much. After he left, Mira sat with the box open, breathing Earth's scent. Somewhere beyond the hull, her homeworld spun through space. But here, in her hands, she held a piece of that world. The shoes were worn. Damaged by some definitions, but they still did their job. They still recalled home.